Good evening and welcome to True Doug Man Encounters. I'm your host, Marvin Allen. If you or anybody that you've known have had a sighting or encounter and would like for me to share it on my channel, then please contact me. I would love to hear from you. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. As you all know, I have been uploading new encounters on my YouTube channel, and I will continue to do that the weeks to come. I will upload 1 to 2 encounters a week just to give my pack members something to listen to. And as far as Ty J, where I stopped off at, I will finish the rest of her episode that I didn't get to finish that day. So look forward to that because it's coming. I always say this. There's no experts when it comes to this. There's no experts when it comes to these creatures. Where do they come from? Who created them? These are a lot of questions that man doesn't have the answer to. We can go back, we can go in text, and we can read certain texts about certain creatures that existed, certain creatures that roam. When you're talking about the dog-headed men, we can read a lot of stuff when it comes to these creatures. Everybody is not gonna like what you put out. Everybody is not gonna like what you say, not gonna agree with some things. The only thing you can do is to keep putting out your encounters, your sightings. Whether they like it or not, that's up to them. But I love what I do. I'm good at what I do. There's nobody else that does it like I do. I found something that I was good at. I'ma stick with it and I'ma stay with it. So, with all that, let's get it. Before I get into this encounter, my eyewitness said that he never believed in none of this stuff. Never believed in no ghosts, no fairy tales, or nothing like that until he had his own encounter. So without further ado, let's jump right into this encounter. Pack members, let's get it. Now this encounter right here happened just on the outskirts of West Virginia. Now my eyewitness was an average hunter, fisherman, like camping. He liked to doing all those things. Been to different states, hunted, fishing, camping. He did it all when it came to the outdoors. But never believed in no monsters roaming the woods. He never believed in none of that stuff. And said he'd been doing this for 30 years. So one weekend, he decided to go to a place he used to go to in West Virginia and just walk around, sit, and just take nature in. So he called a friend up and he asked his friend if he would like to go. He said, well, what time you going? He told him such and such time. He said, I can't make it that time, but if you can go around 2, then I'll go with you. That's the time they decided. So his friend comes, he picks him up, and they drive to this location. Get to the location, they get out, they grab their backpacks, they grab flashlights, because they said just in case it do get dark when they on their way back. So they hit the trail, they hit the path, they start walking. And as they walking, his friend asks him, he said, man, you believe in all this stuff that people saying about in these woods and all that? He said, I've been doing this for 30 years and I ain't seen nothing. His friend said, it's got to be, maybe it's something to it, because it's so many people saying that they saw this and saw that. He said, man, okay, you on that same page as them. So they studied going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And as they walking, they notice by them talking so long, several hours had passed. So now my eyewitness said it's around 6:30. And he said, wow, time flew. So his friend said, don't you think we should turn around and get ready to go back? He said, what, you scared? He said, no, man, I'm not scared. He said, but I don't want to be here when it get dark. He said, yeah, you're scared. So he said, okay, we're going to walk a little bit more, and then we're going to turn around and we're going to head up out of here. Now, mind you, as they walk and they hear all nature. They hear birds, they hear crickets, they, see the deers. They see all type of wildlife. So they continue to walk. And as they continue to walk, his friend said, what is that smell? It smells putrid. He said, do you smell that? He said, yeah, I smell it, but I don't know what it is. Is it something dead around here? That's when they looks around and try to find out just where this foul odor is coming from. But they see nothing. Now, as they walk and trying to find out where this smell coming from, he looks at his watch again. Now, my eyewitness said it's 7:45. Now they noticing that it's getting ready to get dark around 8 o'clock. He said, come on, man, let's turn around and leave. They turn around and they leave. But as they leaving, they still smell this foul odor. And I mean, they walking. But at this time, they don't hear nothing. No type of wildlife. No cricket, no birds, no nothing. It's dead quiet. But they continue to smell this foul, putrid odor. So they still walking. That's when his friend say, stop for a minute. He said, what do you mean? Say, that's when he hear crack, 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 crack. That's when they hear the sound of crunching leaves and little sticks and twigs being broke. They turn and then they look, but they don't see nothing. His friend tell him, he say, look, that ain't no small animal. Come on, man, let's go. Let's get up out of here. They said, all right, stop being scared. Okay, we leaving. So they continue to walk. Now, mind you, as they walking, they still smell this foul, putrid odor. And as they walking, that's when they both hear crash, crash. crunch, crunch. And it's walking when they walking. So they both stop. When they both stop, crunch, the other noise stop. Now my eyewitness look at his watch. At this time, it's 5 minutes to 8. It's darkness in the sky. Now they both clicks on they flashlights. And they shining it around in the wood line. They shining it around to see if they could see anything that's making this noise. But they still smell this foul, putrid odor. So they begin to walk again. They walks a little faster. But as they begin to walk and walk a little faster, crunch, crunch, crunch. It's keeping pace with them. So they continue to walk. And as they continue to walk, they can still hear these steps continue to walk with them. They shine their light in front of them and they keep walking. As they keep walking, my eyewitness shines his light to the left. And he said he don't know why he didn't see this, or neither one of them seen this when they was coming in. He shined his light to his left. And just about 8 feet inside of the wood line, they noticed a partially devoured deer. I mean, it looked like something just gutted this thing out and cleared everything in the insides. And it's open wide. It's like something just splitted the rib cage. Everything inside is empty. Everything. And the head is decapitated. The head is gone from off his body. So they said that might be the smell of that thing. They say, that's not that smell. That ain't it. So they continue to keep walking. And these steps is still keeping pace with them. So they walk. They walk. They continue to walk. Now mind you, they not real far from leaving out of these woods. But as they continue to walk, they stop again. That's when these steps stops with them. And they stand there. And my eyewitness said, hold up, just listen. That's when they both heard something crack. Like somebody just broke a tree in half. They quickly shine their lights. Both of them shine the flashlights to their right. They shines it to their right. And as they shines it to their right, they don't see nothing. But they know this sound came from over that way. So my eyewitness shines his light to his left. But his friend is still panning the right side. That's when, as he's shining it, he said, what the f-? And he bumped into my eyewitness. And my eyewitness said, what's wrong? What's wrong? He said, man, I just saw these bright yellow ass eyes looking right over here at me. So he said, where? He said, over there. He said, shine the light where you talking about at. So he shines the light back over. Nothing. They see nothing. So he said, man, I'm telling you, I saw something. I saw these bright yellow eyes looking right at me. So they continued to keep walking because now they almost out of this wood line and they don't know what's pacing them. So they continue to walk. These steps continue to keep pace with them. So they walking. They still can hear crunch, 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 still making that same noise. So they walk. That's when they can hear these steps. The sound like it's getting closer to them. So they still walking. They moving faster because they want to get out these woods now because they don't know what's pacing them. So they walking, they walking, they walking, they walking. These footsteps is still keeping up with them. So as they walking, my eyewitness says that as he was walking, he didn't see it because he didn't look down. He walking, he said it was a rock. He said so he had stepped on this rock, and when he stepped on it, it rolled off of his feet, and he said he fell back. He said he lost his balance. He said he fell back and he hit the ground. His friend said, oh my, he said, is you all right? He said, yeah, I'm all right. I didn't see that rock there. I didn't see that rock there. He said, are you all right? He said, yeah, I'm all right. He said, but my back hurt. So he helped his friend up. He said, can you walk? He said, yeah, I can walk. He said, but my back hurt and I can't walk real fast. So he grabs his friend, put his arms around around him, and he walks with him. He said, come on, let's get up out here. So they continue to walk. They continue to walk. And his friend is hurt now, but they still walking. Now, mind you, at this time, he said they're around 10 to 15 minutes from getting out of this wood line. But as they walk and he walking with his friend, he noticed that these steps is now directly behind them. He said, because every time it hit the ground, it sounded like he can feel the vibration. Boom, 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 boom. And he know whatever this thing is heavy. And he said, man, this thing that's pacing us is behind us now. He said, just keep walking, keep walking, keep walking. So they continue to walk. And these steps continue to come. And it's walking. Boom, 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 boom. So they stop. They stop. These steps stop. That's when they both turns around. And when they turns around, that's when they see this huge, dark silhouette shape. But they see these bright yellow eyes. They see this dark silhouette shape of this giant creature with these bright yellow eyes. Now, mind you, they both licensed to carry. They both have firearms. So my eyewitness friend eased his arm from around him and he grabs his firearm, takes it off of safety. Now they watching this thing, but they can't really see it. They know it's a dark silhouette shape that they could picture it out, but they said it's so black, but they see them bright yellow eyes. That's when they noticed that this thing showed its teeth. And they said, this is not a human. That ain't no bear. That ain't no coyote. That ain't nothing, because for one thing, this thing shouldn't be standing up. Both of them ease their flashlights, and they raises it up. They both raised their flashlights up like they was doing it in slow motion. That's when they see the bottom part of this thing, that the legs are bent back like that of a dog. And they constantly go up and they see this massive creature standing in front of them with a gigantic head. They said this thing had long arms, hands with claws. They said when they reached the head of this thing, they said once they reached the head of this thing with that light, they said this thing let out this powerful growl that shook them to their core. And it took one leap. Boom! It took a leap to the right of them. It took a leap to the right of them. And it just started to run through the wood line. They can hear trees, branches breaking and all that. He grabbed his partner and they continued to walk out. They make it out of the woods. Now they gotta walk up and go over in this little spot where people park their cars at to get in their car. They makes it over to the car. He gets his partner and his friend, put on his seatbelt and everything, and he goes around. Before he goes around, he looks over. And when he looks over, he see that creature standing just inside of the wood line, just standing there. Now, as he's standing there, a 18-wheeler is driving up. But it's driving up. He wondering, is he going to see this thing? It's just inside. But the 18-wheeler drive past and just keep going. He says, so he gets in the car. My eyewitnesses, his head is fucked up now because he see this thing. And now he know that it exists. His friend pulls out. Now, mind you, he got to go the direction that the 18-wheeler was coming up. So he pulls out, he makes a right, and he goes down. He didn't drive fast, but he goes and he drives down. As he's driving down, they both glance over at this creature. And it's just standing there. It's watching them. He said he was driving slow. He said, and just as he got past that creature, they see another set of yellow eyes. So he started to speed up. Not speed, but he started, to drive a little faster. As he's driving, he looks in his rear view. And when he looks in his rear view, that's when he see one of these creatures drops to all fours and started to run behind his car. And as he running behind his car, it turns off and it's running right on the side. It's keeping right up with him. And it's looking right in his window as it's doing it. He said this creature was massive, just on all fours. So he picks up this speed. And as he picks up his speed, the creature started to just, fade away back. It started to fade away back. He said he had to be doing about 65. He said this creature started to fade away back. He said, but as he faded away back before it got, past him at the tailgate of his car, he said this creature bumped the back of his car. Boom! He said, and it kind of made him fishtail. Like, scared, scared. He had to catch himself and get back on course. And they continued to drive off. He said, but as he driving, he still can see this creature running behind him. Then he see that other set of yellow eyes. He said, but he don't see no cars in sight. He don't see no other vehicle. But they continued to drive because my eyewitness friend house is what you're going to hit first when they leave this place. So he gets to his house, he pulls in. As he pulls in and he gets out, just across the street, he noticed them yellow eyes inside of the tree line, just looking right over at them. He tell his friend, go in the house, because he know his back was hurting. He said, go in the house. He let him in, he went in the house. Now my eyewitness friend stayed out there because now he thinking that this motherfucker followed him home. He followed them to their house. So he watched this creature. He said, and as he was watching that creature, he noticed those other set of yellow eyes pop up. Now he's fucked up, he's confused. Because these things followed them home. Or did they always knew that this man lived there? So he backs up and he stands right there in front of his front door. Said that's when one of these creatures come out the woods on all fours and it walks on an angle. It walks on an angle and it heads over to his front yard property. It steps onto his property, and when it steps onto his property, he said this thing stood up on his hind legs. And when it stood up on his hind legs, it let out another powerful growl. And when it did that, it walked. It walked in his yard about maybe 4 steps. And then my eyewitness friend said it stopped. Now he still got his gun ready. He said that's when this creature started to run in his direction, bluff charge. And it's standing up while it's doing this. My eyewitness friend said he just reacted. boop, 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 boop. He said he just started dumping. He said he let off 6 rounds. And when he let off those 6 rounds, said he noticed that creature stop. He said, but for some reason, he know he hit this thing. Because you know how you hit something and it make that certain sound like, he said he know it hit it because he seen it flinch. He said he had a 40 cal. He said he know he hit it. He said that creature stopped. And when it stopped, it turned. And it looked over in the direction of that other creature. And when it did that, he said that other creature comes out the wood line on all 4s and it walks over on his property. And it walks over on his property, it walks in the other direction. And it stood there